stream. This is very exciting because I've never gone live before. So I promise you there are going to be technical difficulties, but that's okay because I'm super excited to show you New York City's Christmas lights as they are seen on Fifth Avenue and to share with you my very favorite Fifth Avenue holiday walk. Just so you know, my trusty cameraman is here, David. So he's actually the one that's going to be reading the chats. So if anybody is there and has any questions or comments or just wants to say hi, feel free to put something in the chat and David will let me know if anybody says anything. So without further ado, we're going to start my favorite Fifth Avenue holiday Christmas walk. So my favorite Fifth Avenue walk begins at 59th Street and 5th Avenue. And I'm going to walk from 59th Street south, or in New York speak, downtown to 50th Street. So from 59th to 50th Street on 5th Avenue. And the reason why I like to start here is because behind me, we have a hotel. It's called the Plaza Hotel. Now, most of my tour guests know the Plaza Hotel because this is where Kevin McAllister stayed in the movie Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Now, this movie was so popular that the Plaza decided to capitalize on that. So you can now stay at the Plaza Hotel and have the Home Alone 2 experience. The Home Alone 2 experience includes a limousine tour where you visit various Home Alone 2 Lost in New York sites in the city, a large cheese pizza, and a Home Alone 2 ice cream sundae, which has 16 scoops of ice cream, and then it also has brownie bites and M&Ms and caramel and chocolate and raspberry sauce, and of course maraschino cherries. I looked up how much that would cost if I wanted to do it tomorrow. It said that the prices vary for this experience depending on the exact room that you get, but I found that I could get it for as low as $2,500 a night. Such a deal. So that's the Plaza Hotel. Normally we can actually go into the lobby of the Plaza Hotel and actually look at the beautiful Christmas decorations. Unfortunately, COVID-19 kind of spoiled all of that for us. So I can't take you inside of the plaza, but we can see the pretty wreaths outside. And it's totally okay that we can't go inside because there's lots of other fabulous Christmas stuff to explore. So we're gonna start to walk downtown, but this is only like a few steps downtown. And we have this fountain. This fountain is known as the Pulitzer Fountain. There is a woman in the nude, oh no, on top of the fountain. But you will notice, and be careful, David, because there's a very little step there. Don't want anybody to be falling. But this fountain right now is covered in all of these like wintry wonderland characters. So we have like seals and ice skating polar bears and an ice skating jaguar. So I don't know, we also have apparently fences being put up. But if we want to try to get a slightly better look at the fountain right now and showcase those characters. Okay, we're doing lots of, what? Okay, I'm watching my back. Oh, I see, because someone's filming me. Ladies and gentlemen, the NYPD.
Almost. 90%.
Awesome. So, Fifth Avenue, the Fifth Avenue like Business Improvement District, last year they actually put up a illuminated Christmas display here. It had like these giant Christmas decorations, it had a giant menorah, and this year they decided to have a Go Wild theme. And they also set up presents all over Fifth Avenue. The idea was like during the pandemic to get people to come back to Fifth Avenue and go shopping. And I'm curious if you visited last year, if you remember the display, which you like better, if you like the ornaments or if you like the wild animals. So let's see if we can get a better look at the wild animals. Get my face out of the picture. Look at the wild animals because they're so cool. Watch out, Sasha Trusova. That Jaguar is going to win the Olympics for you. There's also over 500 feet of lights. And I believe that there are 24, if I remember correctly, 24 handmade icebergs in this exhibit. And they were all actually made by Harlequin Studios out in Brooklyn. So we like locally made stuff. Look at the little polar bear. It looks like it's in a hot tub. It's like my kind of polar bear over there. And then if we turn around, over here, it is Hanukkah right now, and we have the world's largest menorah right here. I read that it was the world's largest menorah. It's 32 feet tall. It's lit right here across from the Pulitzer Fountain. So we're going to continue to walk. We're actually heading towards Fifth Avenue. We were just a little ways off at the Plaza Hotel. And in front of me, you have the Apple Store. This is our flagship Apple Store here in New York City. The tour guides like to joke that everything in that Apple Store is invisible because it's just this big glass cube. But of course, the store is actually underground. And then you have Dior. So here we are, we're on Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue is the shopping epicenter of New York City. So this is where we have all of these giant flagship stores of these high-end retailers. Here we get a slightly different view of the Pulitzer Fountain if we want to keep looking at our Christmas characters. Now, there's a story that I once heard another tour guide tell me, and I've never actually found evidence of this, but I really like the story. So right now, we're heading towards Bergdorf Goodman. Bergdorf Goodman is a huge high-end luxury retail shop. It's on the site of a former Vanderbilt mansion. And the story that I heard was that the artist of the Pulitzer Fountain really hated the Vanderbilts. So he decided to make a statue of a woman in the nude so that her bottom was facing the Vanderbilt mansion. And every morning they would wake up and see a woman in the nude. I just thought that was really funny, but I've never actually found any actual writings proving that. But I thought I would share the story as we head towards Bergdorf Goodman. Bergdorf Goodman, their holiday windows are always fantastic. This year, the theme of their windows is called The Present Moment, and they're allegedly inspired by Wes Anderson films. Now, something about me, oh, we have some very loud talkers next to me. Okay, so let's get over here and look at the windows. Something about me is I'm really bad at watching movies. But apparently the latest Wes Anderson film is called The French Dispatch. It stars Timothée Chalamet. So let's have a look at the windows over here. There was a really loud New Yorker next to me for a huge portion of that.
Very loud.
It was very, very loud. That was fascinating. So yes, apparently these windows are inspired by Wes Anderson, and they were created in partnership with his latest film starring Timothée Chalamet. And they were so proud of their windows, Bergdorf Goodman, that they actually created a YouTube video called The Present Moment that has a Wes Anderson theme and feel to it that follows a mysterious career through Bergdorf Goodman on the quest for the perfect gift. And you'll see celebrities such as Marc Jacobs and Michael Kors in there. So why don't we get a better look at some of these windows? Let's get my face out of here because we want to look at how impressive these windows are. I quite like this one because it's music themed, and I really, really like music. I really love music. It's literally my life when I'm not tour guiding. We're gonna head over and look at another window over here. In case you're not familiar, oh, look at this one. It's so dazzling and sparkly. I love sparkly. In case you're unfamiliar with Fifth Avenue at Christmas time, Every single store is competing with the others to have the most fabulous Christmas window displays. They actually will hire like set designers from Broadway shows and movies, and they'll be planning these windows for months and months and months in advance. Like, it takes almost an entire year to plan these windows and to build these windows. So people travel from all over the world to look at these windows. So if we want to head down to the next window and have a look by sparkly window. I love the sparkly window. Oh, this one's very fabulous. The present moment is idyllic. I would say that that's quite, is it idyllic, idyllic? Let me know in the comments below. But this one's quite fabulous, especially when it gets cold in New York City. I want to be on a tropical island such as this. Oh, this is wonderful. Oh my goodness, hi Ireland. This is so exciting. I wonder if you do a lot of holiday windows in Ireland. Let me know. Oh my goodness, purple sparkles. I always say that my favorite color is purple sparkles. This one makes me so happy. So this one is, the present moment is adventurous. Look at this bedazzled motorcycle. I want to get out of the way so that you can really look at these fabulous windows. There's a swordfish, there's an octopus. I would say she looks like a sparkly purple mermaid on a sparkly purple motorcycle. This just gives me all of the joy in the world. Okay, so we're going to be leaving Bergdorf Goodman, but as we walk down, I do want to say something else about Bergdorf Goodman. They're celebrating Michael Kors this year because it's Michael Kors' 40th anniversary of his relationship with Bergdorf Goodman. So something that Bergdorf Goodman is really known for is discovering designers that are going to become huge. So in 1981, I believe the fashion director's name was Dawn Mello. She discovered Michael Kors and actually invited him to debut a women's wear line at Bergdorf Goodman. And like literally the rest is history because he's so famous. I want to actually come over on this side. So up ahead of us, you're going to see Tiffany and Company. And just to give you an idea of where we are, right now we're at 57th Street and 5th Avenue. So we've walked 2 blocks south. Tiffany and Company, you can see that their main store is under construction right now, which is kind of a bummer at Christmas time because, oh wait, let's see. Yeah, some stores will do Christmas window decorating, but it's not as magnificent as New York City. I think very few places do it as magnificently as New York City. So I wanted to show you Tiffany and Company because they usually do these spectacular window displays at Christmas time where the entire side of their building is covered in these like giant illuminated yellow diamonds. And I always thought that the yellow diamonds were interesting. Like why a yellow diamond? And the reason why is because the actual Tiffany diamond, and that's a picture of the Tiffany diamond on the side of the building, was a yellow diamond. This was the largest diamond to have ever been found in the rough at the time. It was found in the Kimberley mine in South Africa. I believe it was 287, like 0.24 carats in the rough. And just to give you an idea, that's about 1/3 the mass of the Hope diamond. So it was huge. And only 4 women have ever worn the Tiffany diamond in history. So we have the walk. So one was E. Sheldon Whitehouse. That was, she was essentially the wife of the Minister to Guatemala. The second person was Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn wore it for publicity photos for Breakfast at Tiffany's. The third was Lady Gaga, who wore it at the Academy Awards. And then the fourth, if you actually look up, you'll see is Beyonce. And Beyonce just wore it for this new campaign with Tiffany and Company. And she became the first Black woman to ever wear the Tiffany diamond. So I think that's very exciting. when they have their like actual store, Tiffany and Company, they have an interesting challenge because, you know, their windows showcase like rings. And most of these fashion stores, you know, they have these giant windows. So what Tiffany and Company did was they made these like really tiny square windows. So you really focus in, almost like a tight shot in a movie. So we have Gucci off to the left. We have Abercrombie and Fitch off to the right. So every now and then on Fifth Avenue, you have stores that us mere mortals can afford. Okay, so as we continue to go forward, we're gonna see Harry Winston, but there's gonna be another Harry Winston location that's actually open in a couple of blocks. But what I'm really excited about going forward is this big illuminated balloon that we are going to see. So this big illuminated balloon, you can see it says 5th on it. The crowds are back in New York City, friends. The crowds are back. This is one of many sort of toys that Fifth Avenue has put up along Fifth Avenue. And when I say Fifth Avenue, I'm talking about like the Fifth Avenue Business Improvement District. So you can like come in here, sit down, get your picture taken. This is like very Instagrammable because you have that balloon. Oh, I'm an influencer. What do you think? But I think that this is so fun. And we're going to see a bunch of these toys along Fifth Avenue as we walk down. Now, that area you can sit. They don't want you sitting on these presents because they're not that strong. But here's another area. Do you like my Merry Christmas shirt, by the way? So yeah, here I am. If I was wearing a pretty dress, I'd be influencing right now. Okay, so we're gonna continue down Fifth Avenue. Okay, this church, Fifth Avenue Presbyterian. When I'm giving bus tours, people will always ask, what is that church? What is that church? What is that church? Every time we pass a church. And New York City has so many churches. But this church I really like because I'm obsessed with the Roosevelt family, and this has a Roosevelt family connection. So like Eleanor Roosevelt, FDR, Theodore Roosevelt, all the Roosevelts, I love them. This church, and actually let's go around to I'll tell you about it as we walk. So this church is actually where, very sadly, Teddy Roosevelt's mother and Teddy Roosevelt's first wife died on the very same day, and they had their joint funeral at this church. And in happier Theodore Roosevelt news, his son, Theodore Roosevelt Jr., got married at this church, and Theodore Roosevelt attended with 500 of his Rough Riders. Also, side note, I did say Teddy Roosevelt. He hated to be called Teddy Roosevelt. It's a bad habit for me. I need to always call him Theodore Roosevelt. Now, across the way, you will see Harry Winston. So that's the Harry Winston that's open. He was known as the King of Diamonds. So the outside, I think, looks like it's decorated in these very classy diamonds. Something interesting about him, when he was 8 years old. So Harry Winston was the son of Russian Jewish immigrants, essentially. And when he was 8 years old, he found, I think it was a 2-carat emerald in a pawn shop. And he bought it for 25 cents. And he sold it the next day for $800. $800! And that's in 1904.
That's Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, there's Geraldo Rivera. I am going to say, well, first of all, there's a lot of noise here. I'm horrible at recognizing celebrities, so I'm glad that David's here to recognize celebrities for me. I was, there's so many people. I was giving a tour. I'm just gonna pull over here real fast. I was trying to get around these people, but they kept like, if I sped up, they sped up. Yeah, pedestrians, it's hard. I was giving a tour once and Snoop Dogg was on the sidewalk and I didn't recognize Snoop Dogg. But my bus did. Yeah, so that was Harry Winston. He recognized this emerald, bought it for 25 cents, sold it for $800 in 1904. So that just blows my mind. So off to our left, you're going to see Coach. I love this window. It's very simple, just with like all the sparkles. And if we were to get up close, they always have kind of this like rotating carousel of clothes there. Coach, I think, is interesting because it's literally a local New York City store. That's how it started out. In 1941, it was just like a small family shop where something like, I'll tell you the story while I sit on this teddy bear's lap. The story of Coach while I sit on this teddy bear's lap. So just this small family store. They sold like wallets and billfolds. And I think it's just 6 leather workers that worked there. And then they got a new owner, and that owner was really fascinated with the leather in baseball gloves, because the more that you used a baseball glove, like the softer and more supple that leather would become. And he said, what if I applied that to handbags? And he did, and not only did that make the leather really nice, it apparently also like really took dye very well. So we got this rich, dark, deep, beautiful color, and people loved it. And that's how Coach became Coach. And there's now over 1,000 stores in North America. Hello, teddy bear. This is another one of the Fifth Avenue toys that is fabulous and just very Instagrammable. Its name is Bosom Buddy. Yeah, I think that all of these have QR codes. I think the QR code for this one, the QR code's on the back. And when you scan the QR code, it will tell you the full inspiration for each of these toys. This used to spell love, now it just spells low. Low. Well, I guess the VE is over there by the teddy bear.
How to turn around quickly with this.
Oh. Don't worry. Yeah, friends, this is our first time using the gimbal as well. So I told you there would be technical difficulties. They're happening. It's all good. We're trying something new. We're walking by St. Thomas Church. They have an amazing choir. It's a men and boys choir. They've sung at Carnegie Hall. They sung with Placido Domingo. They sung at the debut of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Requiem. And if you were to go inside, they have not 1, not 2, but 3 organs inside. So music's very important to them. And then up ahead of us, we have Uniqlo. Now, the reason why I think Uniqlo is very important on this 5th Avenue Holiday Lights tour is because while today the weather is actually quite nice, it's about 52 degrees, it can be really, really cold here in New York City. And inside of this Uniqlo, you can get their heat tech thermals, which I live for. I wear them under my pants, I wear them under my shirt, and when it gets really, really cold, it's going to be a total game changer for you. So Uniqlo, that's on 53rd and 5th Avenue. Okay, up ahead of us, we can probably get to the intersection. Up ahead of us, we have the House of Cartier. And we have a pedicab playing some music. Yeah. Okay. It is the best. So see, not just me, other people agree. Uniqlo. Okay, here we are. This is the House of Cartier. This is an Instagram favorite. I read that Cartier is basically trying to think of their entire building during Christmas as just like a giant gift to New York, just big, wrapped up in a bow. This building is so fascinating. If you look at that whole building, the whole thing used to be a single family home. One family lived there. Probably looks just like your single family homes, right? Yours is probably bigger. No. It belonged
to Scott Slater.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Scott Slater. I'm so excited you could join. Scott appears in some of my videos, by the way.
We have a hello from Annapolis, Maryland.
Hello,
one from Bakersfield,
Spencer.
California.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so exciting. Okay, so we have the single family home. This belonged to a man named Morton F. Plant. Fifth Avenue used to be a location where all of these millionaires would come and build their mansions. The Vanderbilts, the Morgans, the Fricks, the Plants. Oh my goodness, so many horns, so many beeps. As more and more like commercial stores came up here, Morton F. Plant wanted to sell his single family home. Cartier was looking for a new home, if you will, on Fifth Avenue. Plant's wife was in love with a double strand of pearls, a necklace that Cartier was selling. So Plant sold his home, this giant building, to Cartier in exchange for that double strand of pearl necklace and $100. I believe that was in 1917. I like to dream that I can go back in time and maybe I could have bought that single family home for $100 and a necklace. So yeah, I think that's just a really interesting story. And apparently Morton F. Plant would have been just really thrilled to know that his home today is like still here. It's, I believe, the only mansion that's still left on Fifth Avenue. There's probably going to be another tour guide that's going to come out and correct me on that, but it's at least one of the only like remaining giant mansions here on Fifth Avenue, and it's just so beautifully taken care of by the House of Cartier. And this year they have like it's always been a present. Like last year it was also a present, but this is a brand new lighting scheme for them. So that's very exciting. We're approaching Saks Fifth Avenue. This is like the biggest tree. This is like the grand finale. We have a couple blocks before we get there. I see it. I see it up ahead. Okay, as soon as we get the walk, we're going to continue to head downtown, and you're going to start to see, it's not very well lit up at this moment. I mean, Saks is very lit up. So you're going to see like Saks that has a giant lit up castle. But next to Saks, a little bit closer to us, there is a neo-Gothic cathedral, which is St. Patrick's Cathedral. St. Patrick's Cathedral is the largest neo-Gothic cathedral in North America. This cathedral, it's an interesting story. The Irish, when they were coming over in the mid-1800s, people really did not want the Irish in this country. Like if they were going to apply to work at, I don't know, this Victoria's Secret that we're walking by right now, if that existed then, you probably would have seen a sign in the window that said NINA, N-I-N-A, that stood for No Irish Need Apply. People were afraid that because most of these Irish that were coming over were Catholic, that they were going to have a greater allegiance to the Pope than to the president. So they really didn't want them here. But the Irish said, you know what? We belong here and we can contribute something beautiful and wonderful to the city. So to make a really long story short, they essentially pooled their pennies together and created the funds to build St. Patrick's Cathedral, which to this day is still the largest neo-Gothic cathedral in the United States, and it was completed in like the 1870s. And it's right here on Fifth Avenue between Saks Fifth Avenue and like Armani Exchange, and across from the Lego store. Now, first of all, everybody, like David is being a true champ, like holding up this gimbal as we approach Rockefeller Center, which is bonkers crowded right now. And we're gonna find out why it's bonkers crowded. So we have the Lego store off to our right. People always love seeing the Lego store. And we're going to see the statue of Atlas holding the world on his shoulders. And just something that I always love to point out, we have that Catholic cathedral, and then we have this pagan symbol across from it. This Rockefeller Center was being built in like the 1930s. St. Patrick's Cathedral was not incredibly thrilled that this pagan symbol got put up right across the street. But the artist of Atlas said, oh, no, it's okay. And there's two reasons. One is Atlas looks like it's taking a knee to the Catholic Church. And the other one is, if you come around behind, first of all, you'll see these cute little Christmas decorations. Like if you stand here, he said it looks like Jesus on the cross. I'm curious to know if you think that illusion works or not. I think most people do see that image of Jesus on the cross, and whether or not the artist purposefully meant to do that or if it was a happy coincidence, we will never know. But I love to point out that little secret here at Rockefeller Center.
Scott says, great view of 30 Rock rising behind Atlas.
Yes, we'll look at 30 Rockefeller Center in a minute. We're going to get out of here and try to navigate because it is quite crowded right now. And we have a lot of music. So Rockefeller Center, you could do a whole like 5-hour video on Rockefeller Center. But for right now, thing that you need to know, Rockefeller Center was being built during the height of the Great Depression. The people who were working were trying to lift their spirits during Christmas time. So, oh my goodness, the characters have come here. The characters have come here, friends. So they ended up like pooling their pennies together and they bought a 20-foot tall balsam fir. Look at these crowds. New York City tourism is back, my friends.
Would you hold the camera so I could put on a mask?
Yes. Okay. Oh my goodness. I have no idea what's in focus or not. I'm going to turn us around or try to turn us around. So they pulled their pennies together. They bought a 20-foot tall balsam fir. They decorated it with whatever they could find. So this could have been tin can, could have been tools, it could have been garlands made by their families. And I love this image of construction workers. David took back the camera. I love this image of construction workers standing around the tree, singing in like big burly construction worker voices, like "Hark the herald angels sing." People loved this so much. They loved it so much that they said, we need to do this every single year. And that's how the tradition of the Rockefeller Center tree got started. Of course, today, it's not a 20-foot tall tree. Today, it's a 79-foot tall Norwegian spruce tree from Elkton, Maryland. And we're gonna...
Seems so crowded. It's 7:30 on a Thursday evening.
Yes! This is quite crowded. And I actually think that this is important to show people because I know that people will want to come from all over the world to see the tree, and I want them to know what to expect because these crowds are a little bonkers. Actually, there it is. You can see the tree. So it's off in the distance from here. Here's the Rockefeller Center tree. I'm going to try to get us, well, let's see. We're going to navigate through the crowds. It's a little exciting. And oh my goodness, David, just show that. Wait, I'm taller than David, so I'm gonna show it. Okay, the crowds. That's the crowds to see the tree and to see the Saks Fifth Avenue light show. This is going into an area known as Channel Gardens, which is the best place really to see the Saks Fifth Avenue light show. I'm gonna try to get us to like a better place to look at the tree. But I decided to use my super tall arms to get up like that. Expect that. I'm gonna cut through here, and just to give you an idea of where we are, I am currently on 50th Street. So 50th Street, this is the north end of where the tree is. Off to my left, you have the ice skating rink. So you have the ice skating rink, and then the tree. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, this is a great view of the tree. I mean, there's another tree in the way, but I don't actually think we can get much better. Maybe if we come over here. There we go. Okay. Oh. Yeah, maybe if we... Okay, so something that I didn't know, that the area like really close to the tree that enters Rockefeller Center and 30 Rock is closed. So we really can't get much closer to the tree than this. So this is actually like about as good as I could really try to push my way through that crowd to get right by the fence. But I don't think that David or I feel like doing that because we're still being like a little safe because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But if you look up at the top of the tree, you will see the star. I want to talk to you about the star real fast. The star was designed by Daniel Libeskind. Daniel Libeskind was the man who was the master planner for the New World Trade Center site. So he did the actual layout for the New World Trade Center site. So I just love that there's a connection between this star and the New World Trade Center site. That star is covered in more than 3 million Swarovski crystals. It is stunning. There is nothing. I watched the NBC broadcast of like the actual tree lighting ceremony yesterday. They could not get the star right. You have to see the star in person. To see the star in person is the best way. It looks like a comet. From where I'm standing now, you can actually see all of the individual crystals and those Swarovski crystals. So it's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna try to... also, I wanted to point out, some people feel disappointed because there aren't... Oh, you're welcome. Spencer Anderson said, great fact about the Rockefeller tree star. So thank you, I'm glad you liked it. I aim to please. So some people get disappointed that there's not decorations on the tree. Now the story that I heard about why there's not decorations on the tree is because one year they decorated it with icicles and it got really, really windy and the icicles came flying off and became projectile objects. And after that they just said, oh, we're not doing ornaments anymore. I believe I actually read that, but I've not been able to find that fact again. So take that with a grain of salt. There is a tour guide motto sometimes that says, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. So I don't know. But there are no ornaments on the tree. It's all LED lights. I am going to attempt, and attempt being the key word, to get us a little closer to Saks so we can see the Saks light show, and that's where I'm going to conclude. But we're gonna actually go across the street just because the crowds are so bonkers crazy. And while I love you and want to give you a great New York City experience, I also don't want to get sick. So we're going to, oh, there's more of the tree over here. This is like another interesting view of the tree. And also you'll notice those silver and gold flags. Normally those flags are the flags of each country that belongs to the United Nations. On American holidays, they'll replace them with American flags and sometimes the flags of all 50 states. There's more than 50 flagpoles, so they'll just keep repeating states in that case. But at Christmas time, we do get these beautiful silver and gold flags, which I really like because it's quite festive. Now, I kind of was very mean to David here, my cameraman, because really the best time to do this walk, if you don't want to have crowds, is to come here at midnight. If you come very late, there's the crowds kind of go away. So if you're somebody who really wants to get up close to the tree, who really wants to get that like great view of the Saks Fifth Avenue light show, come very late at night. So come around midnight and you'll avoid a lot of these crowds. Also, it's very important because as I've been walking around, I've seen more and more of the Times Square scams, such as the monks, the fake monks, the CD guys. I saw a CD guy standing outside the Lego store trying to sell these scammy CDs to people. So just like be on alert. Don't buy anything unless you're going to Saks or the Lego store. Yes, I do have a whole video about the scams that you can check out, and I tell you about like all the different tactics of the scams. Okay, so David, I'm going to have you stand over here and kind of face Saks. This is not the best view of the Saks light show, but this is a view where David is able to stand and not have his life be put at jeopardy. The perfect view would be that area that I showed you that's very, very crowded. So we have Saks Fifth Avenue. Every year, they put up this giant illuminated castle on the side of their building. Every year they have a different theme. One year it was Frozen. I love Frozen. That made me very excited. This year, Saks actually partnered up with the Obama Foundation, and they actually asked children from all over the world, maybe it was just all over the United States, to draw, I forget, I'm sorry. They asked children, there you go, to draw like their fantasy, what like a perfect day would be like for them. And they drew these pictures, and then the designers for the Saks windows actually went and made those pictures into the Saks windows. And I just love that connection. Now, it's about every 10 minutes that the Saks light show like really goes off. I think we might just like hang out here and see if one comes off soon. I might take the gimbal from David and let David check his clock so we can see what time it is.
Yeah.
I can't actually see the time while I'm doing YouTube live. Okay, so it should either be going off now. Oh, we should have like 2 minutes. In 2 minutes. So if you hang tight for like 2 minutes, we should get to see the Saks Fifth Avenue light show. And I personally think it's worth hanging out for. It's stellar. It syncs up to music. The entire side of the building, it just is, I can't imagine a more magical holiday light show every time. I go out to Dyker Heights as well. Dyker Heights is pretty fabulous if you're looking for a great Christmas show. Saks is such a tease.
Actually fully lit in the background in the previous part of this video. Coming up the street.
It was fully lit. That was when we were coming up from St. Patrick's Cathedral. Also, just so you know, the tree will be lit in New York City from 6 a.m. until, I believe it's midnight. So I guess when I say come at midnight, come like at 11:30. 6 a.m. until midnight every single day. But on Christmas, it will be lit for 24 hours. And I forget the exact day that it's coming down, but it's like through at least January 6th, I believe. And the tree will, when they take it down, it will then get chopped up and go to Habitat for Humanities. Also, a fun fact about Saks Fifth Avenue is that I think it's the 6th floor, is dedicated entirely to shoes, and it has its own zip code. Hi Rob! Okay, here we go. We have the light show. So again, this is not the best view, but I'm gonna shut up and let you enjoy. All right, so that was the Saks Fifth Avenue light show. And I'm putting us on selfie mode. I promised David he wouldn't be in it. But I'm just gonna put it on selfie mode for right now so that I can finish up. That was my favorite Fifth Avenue holiday lights walk. I'm gonna put it back over this way if you wanna hold it. Yep. Yes, that was my favorite Fifth Avenue holiday lights walk. Thank you so much for joining us on our very first venture into live streaming. I promised you there would be technical difficulties and mistakes, but I'm super excited and thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to click subscribe so you never miss a New York Minute. Let me know if you liked this in the comments below. I can do more lives. And if you want more Christmassy things to do, visit my website, themegandaily.com. I have a whole New York City Christmas guide that goes into detail about special things that you can do in the entire city, throughout New York City. So thank you so much for watching and happy holidays!